In Illuvium, you were mine. Ranger and Illuvial, side by side. I signed your name for the fight. Chased that cash prize in the night. You shook your head, you would not go. I said just once and made it so. Now that arena owns the scene, and I can't scrub it from my screen. You trusted me with your light, I turn it into a knife. Now every step I take feels like a vow I break. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. No prize in my hand, just blood on the sand. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. I called you to war, and now you're here no more. They dragged you in, you fought for me, even when your eyes said please. Then the match went cold and cruel, and I watched you pay my rule. No winnings came, no coins, no cheer, just an empty room and shame right here. Your color's gone, your voice is still stuck in the wreckage I can't heal. You trusted me with your light, I turn it into a knife. Now every step I take feels like a vow I break. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. No prize in my hand, just blood on the sands. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. I called you to war, and now you're here no more. If I could stray that night, I would burn my name tonight. Let the whole arena know I was wrong to let you go. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. No prize in my hand, just blood on the sand. I lost my partner, I lost my partner. You were all I had, now I'm split apart in half. Got a stack of spare souls in my back row vault. They still got their names on them, still got their spark and fault. They look at me like family, not coins to burn away. I keep them in the light box, I don't hear what the prizes say. You call it a fair fight, I call it a cut. One more run for the trophies, and you ask for too much. I don't wanna sacrifice, I don't wanna lose my sight. Chasing prizes, chasing highs, cheap thrills don't get to decide. I don't wanna sacrifice, I don't wanna watch them die. Keep my extra Illuvials, keep my hands off the knife. Every time the arena glows, it tries to pull me in. Flashy banners, crowd noise, and a grin that feels like sin. But I know what the cost is when the check and keep what I helped build myself. I don't wanna sacrifice. I don't wanna lose my sight. Chasing prizes, chasing highs, cheap thrills don't get to decide. I don't wanna sacrifice. I don't wanna watch them die. Keep my extra Illuvials. Keep my hands off the knife. We came here to prove no tricks in the room, just hands on the board and a clear way through. You bring your best line, I bring my best move. No cheap little win, just something we can build. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. We trade what we know, we teach what we find. A hand for the new, a seat on the line. From first time to champs, we grow side by side. No one gets left out, no one stays behind. Lock eyes, take your place, let the crowd make room. One league, one name, and we all rise up. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. If you fall, we stay. If you win, we cheer. Every round we learn, every voice gets an ear. No throne, no gate, just an open door. What we make right here can always be more. Fair fight, we stand together. Fair fight, we build it better. Win with your heart, win with your proof. Fair fight, that's what we do. Fair fight, hands up, come through. Fair fight, this league is you.
All right, hello, welcome everybody to This Week in Illuvium. We're going to be going through all of the Illuvium news surrounding the Illuvium universe, and of course all of the games and the community highlights as well, going through everything around Illuvium. Looking forward to this one. It's a little bit of a quieter week for those that aren't necessarily a part of the Obelisk Rising playtest, because that's probably the biggest thing that we've been talking about over the last week or so. But unfortunately for those that haven't been able to get a part of the playtest, there's been nothing really new to come your way. But nonetheless, we'll still go over everything and see where we stand on a variety of topics in just a couple moments' time. As always, good to see everybody. Ethit, Reem, Zexy, Blazin. Missing anybody? I think that's it in regards to the chat as of right now. Good to see us. Of course, while this is going to be news, it's going to be my opinions and whatnot on everything that's going on. At the same time, I do enjoy having that community aspect with the chat. So by all means, questions, concerns, comments, whatever, feel free to, even just want to say hi, by all means, fire it off in the chat, and looking forward to seeing you. Don't remind you, yep, I definitely definitely understand. Big Man JB, good to see ya. Going well. I could finally give my hand a break here to do This Week in Illuvium, get away from the Obelisk Rising side of things. I've been pushing that E key way too damn much this afternoon, trying to level my second character up to mining level 30. That's painful. It's been taking a while, but we're trying our best out here. Hope all's going good for you. But with that, let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about Obelisk Rising right off the rip, and then we'll get into the stuff that everybody can truly get a part of, because of course that is essentially the big topic of sorts over the last couple of days, or almost just the last week or so, has been Obelisk Rising basically having its own, or having their playtest, and we've been able to have a couple of streams now. It's been a very small, close-knit playtest so far. There's not necessarily that many people in the game as it stands right now, but people have been getting the opportunity to hop in and try to see what the main part of Obelisk, or not Obelisk Rising, but the main part of the Illuvium universe is supposed to be. The big core factor, of course, the big missing piece that is missing in the Illuvium universe right now is the fact that this is a creature capture game where you cannot actually catch creatures. You can't go out and adventure right now. We have the overworld, but overworld was basically a pack opening simulator of such. It was okay. It was fun while it lasted, but obviously it could have been done much, much better. They took overworld down very, very early. They took it down in January of 2026, and it's been a very quiet couple of months since, basically relying on deathmatch packs and auto drone runs in order to actually get your Illuvials, or purchasing them off the Illuvidex with Web3 transactions, which of course isn't everybody's cup of tea. There's something special about being able to go out there and get the Illuvials yourself. We've been having an absolute great time with it so far, and I definitely hope that in the very, very near future that we can get some more players involved in this one. I know it was very sought after. The playtest had a ton of signups, and there is of course phase 2 that is going to be happening sometime down the road here as well, which should be inviting even more people into the playtest. But for the most part, of course, we're still just kind of getting our footings. The main idea has just been bug squashing and trying to clean up help clean up all of the polish. At least personally, I feel like we're actually not in a too bad of a spot here in terms of the actual, like, skeleton of the game. I personally am really enjoying this beyond anything that I would have enjoyed with Pokemon. But if I were to compare it, like, I'm going to compare my enjoyments in regards to the adventure so far. Even though I know it's still very early, this is of course pre-alpha footage. There is still plenty of polish and bugs to have to go through. But when everything is working correctly, I will say that I enjoy Obelisk Rising more than I do the Pokemon adventure games. However, if we're going to put Pal World into the exact same combination, Pal World's still ahead of Obelisk Rising. But again, this is still very early to go. When things are working properly, of course. I'll have a full breakdown of the entirety of the playtest in a video that comes out once the playtest is complete. Once I gather all of my opinions, I'll get them all onto a sheet and have a video very similarly to what I did in the last playtest. And I'll gladly go over all the good and the bad with Obelisk Rising. But with that, of course, if you're not a part of Obelisk Rising, unfortunately, you're just kind of stuck playing with stuff that, well, hasn't necessarily gotten much in terms of updates as of late here around the Illuvium universe. I mean, we do get balance patches every once in a while now here with the arena side of things, but it is just balance patches. It's not necessarily anything new. And especially when we see teams like this coming up, where it's the same thing that we've been dealing with it's been the same team comps for the last little bit. It can be sometimes a little bit difficult to get excited. If we take a look at the Illuvium Vault, we'll be going over all the teams here in just a second that are topping the arena charts as it stands right now. Does the end game feel strong? I could argue I haven't gotten there yet. Of course, my first character was blocked due to an unfortunate glitch. I got up to level 41, and then I had a quest glitch out, and it stops my progression completely. So I had to restart as the water fighter. I'm up to level 33 now, and I have my 2 Illuvials that I use up to level 39, which is the max that you can do right now. But I'm not anywhere near end game yet, so I'll definitely hold my comment for now, but we'll get there eventually. Awaken, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. But alright, our arena meta as it stands right now, the Behemoths, Inferno, they're back on top once again. While this is a tough team to hit, if you do manage to actually hit it, you are in a perfect situation. And with most of the games right now being 2 to 3 players big and the rest are filled with bots, you're not very contested right now with these Behemoths. Getting the Jotun and the Seer, of course, 2 very strong Illuvials that are hard to actually lock down and get when there's other players actually competing for them. But, of course, we haven't actually had that kind of situation for a little bit. And because of that, people that are specifically just spamming this build are going to absolutely capitalize. We see almost an 80% win rate right now on this build whenever it comes out. On the contrary here, we do have a little bit of a mixture in number 2. It's just being labeled as dust because we have a mixture of fire, air, and a little bit of Goliaths, a little bit of Blazonite here as well, but getting some dust Illuvials, oddly enough, coming in second. Third is going to be your Verdant Wildfire Aegis. Aegis was always hovering around the top 5. Looks like it's going to make it up to third. But if we take a look at the top 3 in terms of win rate, a 79% win rate here for the Behemoth Infernos, but then a significant drop down here for the Dust team that we're seeing with 52, 46 here onto the Aegis. Shock looks like Shock Scion potentially coming on through here as our number 4 with only a 43. So it drops off pretty quickly. Without question, the best build in the game as it stands right now is going to be your Inferno Behemoth. But, again, it's because we don't have very many lobbies where players are actually contesting each other. So would I argue that Behemoth needs a nerf right now? I don't think it's conclusive enough. If we actually get some 8-player lobbies consistently again, we would have a better opportunity to tell because of the self-balancing act that is contesting in the game. Harbinger Scion does feel strong in your opinion. I mean, fair enough, and it looks like there is a variant. It's kind of being labeled as blank here, but I imagine number 5 here, this looks a little bit more into a very tanky Harbinger-esque build, but at the same time it's missing the Mammoth, so maybe not. But I can imagine you get that up to the Axon. Instead of the Jokul, put a Mammoth in there, and Harbinger could still absolutely perform. We are going to see Rogues in at number 6, of course, the 3 Vanguards, the tried and true, the classic, but they're actually going to be adding a Rake in here as well. So it's only a 36% win rate, but still doing good enough to actually show up as our 6th place team. Frost and Behemoth also a potential opportunity here. First time I'm seeing a Lynx actually join the top of the list here, 31% win rate on that. Berserker, or Toxic Berserker, going to be labeled as number 8. 9th, we do have what looks like the attempt at some sort of Wildfire Arcanite. And then last but not least will be Vanguard once again. So Harbinger and Scions, for the most part, not necessarily making the list. I'm looking at the one here in 4th, of course, but is it due to the Sinolf and the Octius, or is it just Scions splashed in? We'll have to figure out. Oddly enough, not necessarily too conclusive in my opinion. Silver Bushman, good to see ya. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You did pretty good with the Harbingers in Arena today. Good on you there, Reem. Good to see. Sexy, fine. I'll play more. Good to see you. Keep it up. Keep trying. And keep leveling up. You're doing well. In terms of our top weapons here for today, with there being so much dominance towards fire, and at the same time seeing how strong Behemoth is, seeing that the Strike Boomerang is leading the charge here is basically no surprise. Being able to very easily go into either Inferno Arcanite if things don't go your way, or to go into Inferno Behemoth if things are going your way is absolutely incredible. The Lava Gauntlet going to be in second again, another way that you can trigger the Inferno Arcanite side of things, but also potentially some steam builds if you'd really like to. The Vinebound Cleaver seems to be the better performing of the rogue weapons as of right now. Your classic Verdant Vanguard still doing very strong, taking the 3rd place spot. We're going to see a couple Scion weapons actually sneak in here for 4th and 5th respectively. The Earthgrass Scepter and the Aqua Blaster. Right behind the Vinebound Cleaver there with a 14 and 13 win rate, or percent win rates respectively. Tempest Lance coming up a little bit, not too bad. Then we're going to get into the weeds a little bit with our middle ground. But what are the worst performing weapons over the last couple of days? Let's take a look and see. There we go, Place an Inferno for the win. You're probably pretty happy right now where things are currently standing. But the worst weapon in the entire game as of right now is going over to the Grove Sword. Trying to go for either some sort of Verdant Arcanite or potentially going for Toxic Berserker does not seem to be hitting its mark as much compared to using one of these other weapons. And then my tried and true, the Emberling Rod, my favorite, is going to be short to follow. 2 of my favorites, oddly enough, going to be down towards the bottom, with the Ripple Flail and the Emberling Rod both being at 8%. I guess the Toxic Aegis style is not quite working, and then if you're going for Tsunami, you do have other options. Granted, at the exact same time, though, Ripple Flail does allow you to go for like Tsunami Harbinger or something along those lines. So maybe it's just not quite getting used in those kind of compositions as much as I'm thinking. But look at its usage. We're in the thousands. This thing's been used so many times, yet still finding a hard time at actually finding its footing. And then Emberling Rod. Trying to predict whether or not your Omega is going to actually activate is about as random as trying to follow the stock market. You're basically going to be completely out of luck and you're just kind of going along for the ride. So, not necessarily the greatest weapon, even though, again, one of my favorites, but slightly underperforming in my opinion. Papito, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Team Shock. Would love to see more Shock, but I know Shock in particular is still having a hard time trying to truly find its footing. It's showing up as number 4, but I feel like there's a lot more to this team than just Shock in this instance. Top items used by people who end up winning their games. So let's take a look at the best legendary augment. It seems to be currently the Arcane Conduit is going to be going on through there, where you get a bit of your attack damage, I believe it's Omega Power, or reverse that. Plus get a bunch of additional energy on top of your auto attacks as well. Here you go. So yeah, your attack damage as Omega Power, while also giving you additional energy. So that seems to be the best one. But again, legendary rounds don't necessarily come around very often. So that's why we only see them in like 1% of games. Short to follow is going to be the Omni Spark, which is basically the phase breaker on crack. You're going to be getting additional attack speed and Omega Power on top of that that Omni Vamp when going untargetable. For the rest of these augments, like the actual regular augments, let's take a look. This is going to be the second day, or not the second day, but the second week in a row where we are going to see the Tessellating Omega Reactor, where you're getting your energy every single time you auto attack, show up as the best augment in the game. Right there, short to follow, is going to be the Hyperforce Reactor, where we're going to be getting that attack speed every single auto attack. Going to be jumping up quite significantly. The Resonating Pulse Reactor getting a massive boost compared to last week, it looks like. We're going to be getting a bunch of Omega Power, of course, or not Omega Power, but a bunch of your Omega Power gets turned into attack speed every single time you use your Omega. This sounds like a lot like an Arcanite kind of build, so whether you're going for your Furiox or maybe a Phosphorus, you can definitely throw that on. The Phase Breaker finally going to not be on the podium for like the first time in a couple of months, it feels like. The untargetability being only a second and a half, I think now, makes it so that Illuvial still turn on the holder of this augment 9 times out of 10, blowing it up. So, Phase Breaker having a little bit of a harder time. Then just the raw attack damage coming on forth here for some additional, or not for some additional, but the raw attack damage is going to be our number 5. Then going to be followed up by a handful of our tank augments, and last but not least, a Trinity Pulse, which, when in doubt, is not really a bad option for pretty close to everybody. We're going to very, very quickly hop on over to the suits. It looks like the Hunter's Precision has taken its spot back on the top of the leaderboard. Had 1 week off there with the Staggering Strike getting a little bit of a comeback. But again, just being able to give your Illuvial a bunch of additional range plus True Sight is very, very strong. Staggering Strike, where you neuter your attack speed, but then all of your attacks turn into stuns. It's going to be the second best suit in the game. Explosive Tempo, going to round up our top 3 here, where you get attack speed every auto attack, while also exploding every 5 attacks. In terms of drone augments, I want to quickly take a look at this here as well. The Veteran's Might, so relying on your tier 4 units to do the carrying, whether that be the Scoriox, whether that be the Umber. Picking one of those and then going for Veteran's Might seems to be the strong way to do it. Just very, very, it definitely pigeonholes or bottlenecks your build as to what you can choose to be your carries, but if you focus that with these augments in mind, you will absolutely flourish. Then the offensive boost is going to be our number 2 or number 3 augment here on the list. And oddly enough, I did want to take a look at Solid Start. It took a significant tumble down here, where you're getting invulnerability for 3 seconds. That was very strong for a very long time, but it's still going to be in the top 10, but it's fallen rather considerably, if I do say so myself. But that will do it for the arena breakdown. There is one thing that I do want to also talk about arena-wise. I want to go over the current state of the RattyData events. I'll quickly pull up a window here for that one. Because, of course, we should be getting relatively close to the monthly finale. And as a part of that, the prizes did get announced for it. So let's take a look and see what players of this month's finale will be competing for. It does look like we've got a Rampy Illuvitar coming on through. The Rampy, of course, very, very hard to find in Illuvium Beyond, so that's going to be coming on through rather nicely. Then an Arcane Hydrolinx and a Mammoth coming on through. Over 90 TPI on both of those. Those are definitely some nice ones, while you're also getting the Whale, which I imagine is a part of Ratty's entire website. More of a... I can't exactly remember what the Whales report per se, but that's more so towards the Bond Eddie Ratty or the RattyData website. For second, you'll be picking up the Rake hollowed out one as well, and it's completely blinged up with a bunch of accessories. The Relentless Links above 92 TPI onto that one, and then a Greater Water Valente 97 TPI onto that alongside another Whale. Then last but not least here for third, the Radiating Ador, blinged up and ready to rock here as a potential Illuvitar for yourself, alongside an Ace and a Lesser Water Atipo. So that finale, it is in just over a week's time, it looks like, where we are going to see Fox Spirit, aka Bart, aka Sale 7000, desperately trying to sell their damn account apparently, but they're also going to be leading the charge in regards to this finale as it stands right now, with Hector from Mad Dogs short to follow, Wolverine 777 hype for third, we got Texan, Badul, Nocacho, and Droa and Draknyen all currently in the top 8 here for the potential play or the chance to actually compete in the RattyData finale, which is in just over, or just under rather, 10 days. In terms of who's on the outside looking in right now, we can quickly take a peek here at that. Which, of course, any of these players in this spot, keep trying, because also, if it does end up where this is locked in, but then somebody no-shows, we're going to be looking down, I imagine, into, say, 9th to 15th to see who's available. And right there, we do have 21 Knights. We have Zyphet, Nariba, Thanatos, Squawk from Mad Dogs. Since Squawk's Mad Dogs? Who isn't nowadays? Fair enough. We got Surfer Dude, we've got Monster, Deno Hype, Lars, and the Balian Ranger rounding up our top 18. So keep pushing. There is still some more opportunities to play in the weeklies. The next weekly session is going to be in 3 days, so I think that is Saturday, question mark? Yep, Saturday the 22nd. It's right there on my screen. There we go. So that'll be the next opportunity to squeak in there. Maybe 1 or 2 more after that to then get your opportunity to play in the finale. We'll go over to deathmatch stats here in just a moment's time. Robert Tacho, good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hector, good to see you as well. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hey, hashtag no guild. I'm on hashtag no guild, but that's also my choice, so to speak. I personally have been invited by a handful of guilds to have joined, but it's nothing against any of the guilds. I just don't want there to be any sort of abrasive relationship accidentally, just by being associated with the guild, if that makes sense. So I'll gladly help and cheer for everybody equally, if that makes sense. Hector in chat, Squawk's been with us for a long time, but just didn't change the name until now. Gotcha. That makes sense. Alright, let's take a look at the Deathmatch Graveyard stats brought to you here by the RattyData. As it stands right now, we have killed off over 614,000 Illuvials. But over the last 7 days, that's where things honestly start to concern me a little bit. While the unique players amount might have gone up, we are seeing a considerable drop. Almost half of the player base of Deathmatch has disappeared since the last 7 days, it looks like. So I don't know what's going on with Deathmatch, but they have their diehards, it seems like now. But for the most part, finding lobbies probably going to be a little bit more difficult considering there's only 28 players active every single day, it looks like. In regards to deaths over the last 7 days, it's also another quiet week here. When we were in the 30,000s not too long ago, we are now down to the 13,000s. So the amount of deaths slowing down very considerably over the last 7 days. In regards to the most killed off Illuvials, the Lynx is going to lead the charge alongside the rest of the tier 1s. That's basically no surprise there. Your unluckiest players in terms of who's killed off the most Illuvials over the last 7 days. Jub on an absolutely killing spree, 2,652 Illuvials. Fawn's going to be there with 1,400. The Chassis MP1, just about the same thing there with almost 1,400. Sergio with about 900. Batango with about 900. A to the G, last week's big killer, just about 800. Jonakino, that's a name I haven't seen in a little while, going to be there with about 800. And Hector from Mad Dog's going to round up our list here with just over 600 Illuvials killed. So Deathmatch in a little bit of a spiral right now. I never wish to see any sort of harm, but hopefully they can turn things around here, because I feel like majority of the player base, as I start snowing here apparently, the majority of the player base have gotten their full of Deathmatch and kind of moved on, waiting for the next thing. Which I know, at least personally, the fact that Arena got absolutely destroyed for over, or just about a year, so that Deathmatch can be made and flourish, and then see that Deathmatch is in its current state that it is right now, this hits my heart almost as bad as when Overwatch 2 canceled story mode. And that was pretty bad from Blizzard, and I hold this almost to the exact same accountability. So definitely a little bit of a rough opportunity. Of course, there's been plenty of changes since then, and looking forward to seeing what Illuvium brings across the board, but I'm still rooting for Deathmatch. I still want it to do well. I just wish that it didn't take Arena's suffering for Deathmatch to do well. Or for Deathmatch to be made in the first place. Catching back up with chat here in just a second. Yeah, JB's a part of Syndicate, but most of Syndicate disappeared. There's a handful of guilds that unfortunately kind of disappeared over the last little bit. Like, I haven't seen OLA in forever. The only Phantom I remember, I believe, is Carl. The only OLA member I remember right now is Sandy. And would love to see more sometime in the near future. I only have 450 Illuvials. How do you burn 2.6k? I mean, there's a lot of people that were die-hard Overworld players that just farmed. Or there's a lot of people that just spent a ton on auto drone runs. And for them, it's absolutely perfect. If you're able to just keep getting more and more Illuvials and you're completely content with killing them off, more the power to you. But for players like myself, where we only have a certain amount of extras, and we're not in a position to just... We're either not in the position to, or just straight up don't want to spend money on a gotcha pull. We would rather go catch those Illuvials ourselves. Unfortunately, it's kind of not done the rest of the creature capture side of the community justice. So Deathmatch, of course, again, kind of fallen down a little bit, but I do want to take a look at the leaderboards here in just a moment's time. And we can start off with Deathmatch because I am very prone to accidentally forgetting about it. So let's get into the free side of things. Over the last 7 days, Fawn's currently the winner, or biggest winner, in regards to Bones 1, with over 20,000 won there. Ape to the G going to be in second with about 15.3k. Tipsy, 15k for them. Hector from Mad Dogs, 14.5k there for them in fourth. Tapio going to be in fifth with 12.5k. Jub, Sergio, Chassis, Free Mode Enjoyer, and then Squawk from Mad Dogs, all within that 10k to like 9.7k range to round up our top 10. If we take a look at the standard mode, who's been the biggest winners here? Well, it's actually Sergio, over 23 bucks won for them. Monster right behind them, right at the $23 mark. Free Mode Enjoyer of about 14 bucks won. Illuvium Market going to be there with about 13. Halagon 13. Squawk gonna get 8 bucks and 40 cents. Hogan with just under 5 bucks. Killer Sloth just over 4 bucks. And then Sota and Drac just about 4 bucks there. If we hop on over to the advanced mode, let's take a look and see what kind of action we've gotten here. And we do seem to have Mothbuck Monster just under 20 bucks, gonna be the biggest winner here. Hector with 12. Nil coming through with 12. Max Billionaire with just about 11. Fawns with 9. Wolverine with 9. The Reluctant Hero with just about 5. And unfortunately here for Reem, it looks like the only person to lose an Illuvial in advanced mode, getting very unlucky, is the only one to have unfortunately lost an Illuvial there. So that's a little heartbreaking there. Sorry to see that there for you, Reem. Let me take a look at how many matches have actually been going on, though. Oh, okay. So if we take a look at the advanced mode, we do see over the last week there's been only 3 matches in the last 7 days here for the advanced mode. But again, that is just advanced mode. That's kind of the high roller mode, so to speak, where there is a bigger entry fee. But then the permadeath chance, as you can see here, it's much lower, but it is not 0, so it could still absolutely kill off your Illuvial. Then over the last couple of days here for standard mode, we do see that there is still matches happening, but the gap in between has significantly increased even before, or compared to what it was before. In the, I guess, the North American primetime hours, we are seeing maybe about 1 match every 2 hours or so on average. But then we were seeing some major drops. So it's basically looking like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Say about 10 matches every single day. So yeah, the amount of action happening here in the Illuvium Deathmatch side of things, unfortunately, has slowed to a crawl. And if we go to free mode, I'm curious as to what the lineup looks like. Okay, so they're right on the verge of having 2 lobbies happening at the exact same time. So that's not too bad, all things considered. But in terms of the paid modes, unfortunately, Deathmatch seems to have just absolutely slowed to a crawl. But we do have the rest of the leaderboards I do want to talk about. Of course, with this being a Wednesday, it means that the snapshot will be happening in just a couple of hours. Looks like just under 4 hours before we have some fuel sent our way, or ILV, whatever it happens to be. And this, as it stands right now, 21 Knights going to take the lead here in the Gauntlet leaderboards in the arena. Hector from Mad Dogs right there as well in second. Thanatos going to be third. But if we go through our top 20, let's take a look to see who's all here. Badul going to be in fourth. We do have Antoshino in fifth. Sale 7000, which was Bart, or which was Fox Spirit. So they're going to be dropping for the first time in months. we're going to see Fox Spirit or Fox Spirit's account, however you want to put it, because I know when Fox's account was being shown as Bart, Fox was claiming that it wasn't him playing it. But nonetheless, it's the first time over the last couple of, or many months, that we've seen Fox Spirit fall off the top 3. Drakian, Surfer Dude, Red Jack, Nyx Hype's going to be rounding up our top 10. Go through our top 20, we've got Test 001, Prowler 001 coming on through, Ajax, we've got Goofy Rampfire, Zico Perico making a move over the last couple of days. They crushed me very badly earlier when I played my rounds, and I slid on there's Zico Perico, and nice move so far. Kira's still up there as well, 16 currently. Torok 17th, Uchimaru 18th, Coyote Hype 19th, then Wolverine going to wrap up our top 20 currently in 20th. At least for me personally, because Obelisk Rising took up so much of my time, I think I've maybe played 2 or 3 games so far this week. I'm not even sure if I'm actually eligible for rewards right now, but we've dropped down rather considerably, and that is why for tomorrow's stream, actually, we are going to not be playing Obelisk Rising. We're going to hop back into the arena. The one thing that I have noticed, as much as there is a lot of excitement around Obelisk Rising, I kind of touched on a little bit earlier in the stream, but I do hate the fact that I can't play with most of yous right now. I can play with a couple of yous through Obelisk Rising, but again, this is kind of something where like a lot of the community's kind of left out still right now. So I want to make sure that we at least have Thursday. I'll hop into the arena. My intention's going to be ranking up a little bit, but it's also the perfect opportunity to have a little bit of a game day or game afternoon with you all. So tomorrow, make sure you tune on in, and by all means, feel free to stream snipe me. Get in my lobby. Let's go. It's been a little bit. I look forward to playing with y'all. It took a whole day for your advanced game to run? Yeah, I believe it, unfortunately. If we take a look at the Illuvium Zero side of things for fuel burning, of course, this one for the prizing is also tied based off of how much revenue Illuvium is making. If there's not a whole heck of a lot, normally it stays at 0.01. Well, again, it is going to be 0.01, but we do have somebody other than Teresa, oddly enough, in the lead. Someone I've not necessarily seen on the boards as of late. Zev going to be making a move all the way up into first place. Teresa in second. Sergio YTC. We're used to seeing Sergio within the top 5. Going to be here as well. To round up our top 10 players by fuel burning, we do have Yabeezer, No Luck, Bora, Bew, the usual few. Test 001, the exuberant ramp fight, and Gaiken Wei going to be rounding up our top 10 for fuel burning. If we go to Illuvium Beyond, of course, there's usually not very much action for the Beyond movement, since we are in between sets currently. And as it stands right now, it doesn't seem like there's much movement whatsoever. Alexa going to continue to lead alongside Final Boss and Leader Akola. Hector going to be in 4th place. Jub, Samsara, Hyper Hunter, Bond Daddy Ratty, Steve-O, and Mixine going to wrap up our top 10. Where do we see any sort of movement? We start to see it around the 20th mark, where we're seeing it looks like Sea Otter make the big moves over the last couple of days. But that will wrap up our leaderboards for the time being. The next thing that we're going to be taking a look at in just a moment's time is going to be our top sales of the week. While things may be quiet, I would absolutely love to see what everybody's been cooking, and who's been cooking, who's been grinding, and who has been buying over the last 7 days. Okay, we'll start off with the Illuvials. Top 25 Illuvial sales over the last 7 days. Let's start off with a Dark Hollow, a beautiful Exalted Earth Doka. Dark Hollow coming on through. That was picked up by HZ Shine. Hopefully, this thing is still with us here. Of course, when I see a Dark Hollow, I think of Deathmatch, but at the same time, it's a Dark Hollow. That is the rarest form of shiny that we have here in Illuvium. Hopefully, that thing's still with us. We do have this beautiful Cuckaloos, actually, 97 TPI. That thing is gorgeous. Just under 12 bucks going over to Matter 1. All right, Matter, nicely done. Of course, Matter plays a ton of water and air. Them and Kira both, oddly enough. They both came into the game, I feel like, around the exact same time, and they both play very similar builds. It looks like Matter won with an awesome pickup, awesome support there with the Kookaloos. Congratulations. Just over 12 bucks, we see this beautiful competitively set Riptor, just missing a little bit of Omega power, but thankfully, that skewer does percentage damage, so we'll still gladly accept this awesome Riptorus, and Kira is going to be the one picking that one up. Absolutely gorgeous. Congratulations. This Fur Knight, a beautiful Dark Hollow. Stats aren't there, but this is still very, very gorgeous. This one going over to HZ Shine, so that is 2 Dark Hollows being added to the collection of HZ Shine. Congratulations. An Exalted Monk here, 92 TPI, just under $14, going over to Kira as well. Couple of awesome fighters, maybe building up for a Berserker line. Love to see it. Nicely done there, Kira. 99 TPI onto this Revo, just missing movement speed, so this Revo is perfect. Ranged attack and Omega that moves it all around the board for you. You don't need that movement speed at all, so this thing is perfect for just over 16. Kira also picking this one up. They're on a roll, it seems. How about this Riptor? 97 TPI for this Riptor, just over $17, going over to Matter 1. All right, back and forth now between the two players, it seems. We now break the mold for a second here. We see a beautiful hollowed out Steer. It's just missing movement speed and Omega power, but Sergio adding this absolute beauty to their collection. Congratulations. For just under 19 bucks, we're seeing this beautiful competitively set Axodon. Just need some levels to it as of this point here, but 96 TPI onto this, just under 19. Kira adding that to the collection. Is this yours too by chance? No, this is Matter 1's. Matter 1 picking up a essentially perfect Axon for just under 24 bucks. Level 51 already. That Axon will see a bunch of use for you. Looking forward to seeing it in House League. But now we've got some big guns. The Dualef, 76 TPI Dualef onto this one. Pretty solid offensively. This one going over to Gatling, actually. Gat going to be picking up this one for a little bit of late game firepower. Congratulations. We do see a beautiful Virtuous Zephyrlynx, a very tanky one. It's just missing attack damage, but again, it's mainly about the Omega with the Virtuous Zephyrlynx. So with this, for just over 25, Mr. Cat, appropriately enough, going to be picking up this one. For just under 26 bucks, we have this Jotun coming on through. Almost maxed in everything, but then is missing a good chunk of Omega power. But still, that is an amazing Jotun. This one going over to Kira. Congratulations, Kira. You and Matter 1 seem to be making a bunch of moves here today. Let's see. Virtuous Hydrolinks, level 60. This thing's competitively set to go. 82 TPI for just under 26 bucks, going over to Mr. Cat once again. Mr. Cat collecting some Lynxes, apparently, to start off this week. Now, a very nice Adorius coming on through here. 80 TPI, maxed out on Omega power. Those heals are going to be incredible. Would love to see this thing onto the battlefield for, again, just over 28. Gatling with the incredible pickup. Once again, that's going to be 2 tier 5s, actually, picked up here for Gatling. We'll see if there's more, but so far, so good. Is this yours, too? Yeah, a couple of the big tier 5 stage 3s going the way of Gatling in this last little bit. How about the Titanor? Yep, that's Gatling too. Holy smokes, Gatling finding a ton of late game firepower in the Illuvidex here, especially that Phosphorus already level 60, Titanor level 55. The hardest part about a tier 5 stage 3 or fully evolved is that trying to get levels onto it is very difficult because you don't usually see them until the extreme late game. They tend to be your closers, so they don't necessarily get time to build experience. So the fact that this Titanor and this Phosphorus are already either maxed out or very close is incredible. So fantastic pickups here, Gatling. Congratulations. Let's keep on going. We see the Jokul coming on through here, just missing some Omega power for 35, or just about 35. Kira gonna add that to their arsenal of big fighters. How about this Riptorus, 97 TPI for about 36 bucks? That's Matter 1. Once again, back and forth between these two with some awesome upgrades. Now your top sales of the week. Let's take a look and see. Axodon. This thing's just missing a little attack damage, but that's not too bad, all things considered. For 39 bucks, Matter 1 adding this big Harbinger onto the squad. Congratulations. We've got a couple of Lynxes in the top. Here is Mr. Cat potentially going to be the one to scoop them all up. They've got 1, they've got 2, they've got 3, they've got 4. They've collected a bunch of these Lynxes, level 60, level 50 respectively. All of those going for about 40 bucks, or from 40 bucks to about 46 bucks respectively. So incredible pickups here from Mr. Cat. I wish there was a more consistent way that you can use those Lynxes in battlefields, because those are too pretty not to see on the battlefield. But with that Relentless Hydra Lynx being the big sell of the week, I did not talk about this perfect 100 TPI Axon leading the charge. We saw earlier the Axon, I think that was Matter 1 that picked this one up. Yep, 98 TPI onto this one. So who picked up this perfect Axon for 42? Doctor, going to be a new face here onto the top sale. Picking up an absolute legendary Axon, in my opinion. Fantastic pickup. Congratulations there, Doctor. Or Doctore. Now we're going to take a look very quickly at the Illuvium Zero land sales. I mean, I talk about this to death, but I know I wanted to always reiterate, if you're getting into Illuvium Zero right now, please do be careful and note that any of these land plots are strictly speculation pieces, because you're going to end up building up your city and then having absolutely nothing to do with it for the time being. We are all sitting and waiting, myself included, desperately waiting for a reason to play Illuvium Zero. There's absolutely nothing fun about Illuvium Zero once you have your city built, and I desperately hope for something to be added on in there. We've been asking for training gems for over a year now. It was teased for over a year now. We've been asking for potentially a way to make our own skins again. Fuse, breeding, we've been asking for a bunch of things, but unfortunately, there has been absolutely no movement on the Illuvium Zero front for over a year and a half, if not longer. So if you are getting into Illuvium Zero, please do be careful, because this purchase and the enjoyment that you'll get out of this purchase is heavily reliant on an update being made. There is not something immediately that you can do to actually make it worthwhile once your city's built. So keep that in mind. Didn't think they had 100% TPI. They are super rare. Absolutely. Let's take a look at Tier 1 plot to lead us off for just over 27 bucks. Let's see who we got here. ND Silva, that's a new name. Congratulations on your land plot. How about this spot here at Shard Bluff Labyrinth for just over 31? NJA going to be joining the Illuvium Zero world. Good to see ya. Hope you enjoy yourself no matter where the game goes. Halcyon C, 31 bucks for this one. ZMB. Let's call them ZMB at this point here. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that, but a nice little pickup there for them. Picking up a spot at one of my favorite regions, at least in regards to how it looks in Zero with the Halcyon C. Quickly checking up with chat here. I'm closer to having all blueprints. That would be incredible. There, Blazin. Keep it up. I wish we could bong our Illuvials again. Take the better stats from lower TPI. Bond. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying there, Sexy. No, whether it be some sort of breeding system or some sort of fusion-esque kind of system, it would be cool. You're at 85 out of 130. That's absolutely incredible. I mean, unless you have some. I've never done it ever in my life, but I know there's some that may enjoy it. But back to our land plots here. We've got our top 4. Taiga Boreal. We've got 33. 33 bucks here for this one. And this one's going over to Richard Mayhew. So congratulations, Richard, on the new spot in Taiga. Bring a jacket, though. You're going to need it. Shard Bluff Labyrinth now, on contrary, going to be our next plot here in third place position. And rounding up our Tier 1 land plot sales for the week. This one getting picked up by Amoeba. Congratulations, Amoeba. Build it up, enjoy the process, and then hopefully we'll have something fun to work for in the hopefully not so distant future. But we do have a couple big ticket items here because these ones are Tier 4 plots, both moving around Taiga Boreal. We see this Tier 4 for over 550 bucks. This one going over to the Killer Sloth. Congratulations, Sloth. Last but not least, for over 630 bucks, another plot here in Taiga Boreal. This one going over to one of our top players here in Illuvium 0, Sergio YTC. Congratulations there, Sergio. Another one to add on forth, and just, I imagine, if this thing's just decked out to burn fuel, you might be third this week, but we'll probably be talking about you either first or second in the upcoming weeks. But that shall wrap up our top sales here for the week. Which then brings us over to the community rescue. Of course, I do want to give a shout out here to the rescue that I do end up operating here. In just a second's time, I just realized I didn't have the thing on the proper board. My mistake. But let's talk about the community rescue while we have the chance here. So as it stands right now, this is the most recent community rescue inventory I have. And the entire idea behind this community rescue is, of course, I take donations to the Silent Events Illuvium account. That account does not go into Deathmatch. That account does not get played in Arena. It will never be played. It will never go and sell Illuvials on the Illuvidex or anything along those lines. This account right here is strictly for prizing for Kira Blue Cup. So for all the newcomers coming into Illuvium, trying our damnedest to have a collection of Illuvials here so that whether they're starting off now or whether they're starting off in heck 2028, they can still have access to the same Illuvials that we do here today. And through playing in House League and through community efforts, they will be playing and getting a couple of Illuvials basically every single week for participation. So the big ones that we're missing right now, it's basically the exact same ones that we were missing from last week. So the Greater Eratipo, the Exalted Grocco, the Earth variant. We do see the Exalted Fire Doka missing. Or not missing, but I only have the one of them. And then everything else is just in regards to the Tier 5. So with the Phosphorus, those are the Illuvials that we are currently missing from the community rescue. But there is still so much to go for here. And like I look forward to doing the Illuvium, not the Illuvium 0, the Illuvium Arena House League prizing, because of course as a part of that, there is the community rescue prizes associated with it, so that you can build your collection, earn Illuvials, add more to your team and collection just by playing the game, which as it stands right now is impossible. There is no free-to-play-esque kind of style for Illuvium when it comes to getting your own Illuvials. The only thing you can do free-to-play right now in Illuvium is hop into Arena, hop into Ranked, and get your ass kicked because you're all level 1s going up against level 20s and higher at the very, very minimum. Unless you're playing casual mode. You can absolutely do that, but if you're looking to push Ranked, that's not going to end up nice for you, unfortunately. So, House League and the Community Rescue, looking to help those players build that collection. There is also the secondary option as well. I'm looking to have this Community Rescue with at least 2 of each Illuvial, if possible, because if there is ever breeding added into Illuvium, I'm hoping if it does, it goes through Illuvium 0, be able to make breeding farms right in Illuvium 0, similar to what we would do with our blueprints. I went on a whole stream just essentially documenting the entire process of how I'd love to see it done. Whether that actually gets implemented or not, who knows? But if it ever does, I want to have at least 2 of every single Illuvial, so that no matter what, we can stop species from going extinct. Originally, it was made to stop them from going extinct because I was fearful that Deathmatch would kill them all off. But with how Deathmatch has been over the last couple of weeks, I might not necessarily have to worry about that. But I'd rather this be made just in case, instead of not worrying about it whatsoever, and then burning us later. I'd rather not have to use the rescue for endangered Illuvials instead of the other way around. We need more Illuvials. Breeding shouldn't come until set 3. Once we get it eventually. Yeah, I'm not necessarily too concerned as to when. That's my big thing. But I do agree. Well, I mean, it's weird, right? Because Illuvium is going to be in a spot now where they're going to be releasing Obelisk Rising come December, hopefully. And then, to a brand new set of eyes, they're going to be seeing all these creatures for the very, very first time. However, to all of the regulars, the veterans, the people that have actually stuck around even while the game was in its quiet phase, we've been playing with the same pieces since 2022. And that excitement for us is going to be very, very awkward. We're going to be happy that Obelisk Rising is going to be there, but like technically there's nothing stopping me, for instance, of just taking my extra Illuvials, bringing them into Obelisk Rising, then bam, I've got a living dex already. So what is it to me? What should I be looking forward to? What kind of post-living dex endgame is going to be my play? So that's going to be a big question that we're going to have to get answered sometime in the future. Dungeons and raids, I know, is going to be a big part of that. But what if you're not a raider? That's going to be my question. Our last topic here for the day is going to be a fun one still, though, because we're going to be going over Illuvium Arena House League, and then going into the Illuvium Arena House League prizing. We're going to be opening up a bunch of packs here, thanks to everybody, of course, that have participated in last week's event. We hop on over right here. This is our finishing order from the first, or not from the first, but for the first week where we had the reworked House League. So with that, of course, the Kara Blue Cup has been completely changed to casual mode. And with that, we saw a bunch more entrants, which was really, really cool to see. To the point where we had 2 separate lobbies, including someone who's actually here right in the chat, Reem, getting a massive win here in the first matchup with Warrior Ace, who disconnected, but thankfully was still able to get a second place spot. We have Zexy, who's also in the chat here, had quite the run, actually, in the Caribou Cup, especially the second one here, because they took the bump. But getting third in the first one. And then Z-Nexus Gamer is the first time we've seen them, but they're going to be getting themselves a pack for snagging fourth. Then we went to the C main. We saw Awaken from Mad Dogs taking the win over Robert Tacho and Ethit. Zexy getting a much better run in the second game, going all the way to fourth. Matter 1, Kira, Ballistics, and Reem going to round up the results here for that Steam main matchup. Then for our first Monarch Masters matchup, we saw Blazin taking the win, I believe, for the second time ever here in the Illuvium Arena House League. Got the win over Coyote Hype. Was a very close battle between those two. Awaken, after taking the bump from Kara Blue Cup, goes all the way to third in a fantastic run. Then Hunter from Mad Dogs makes it into fourth. It's the first time we've seen Hunter drop out of the podium in a long, long time. But it's not like they did poorly either. So I still, massive props to Hunter. Matter, Kira, Ballistics, and Ethit all took the bump from the Kara Blue Cup as well. Knew that they were at the slightest of disadvantages, but nearly scored some additional points. Will help them out with some more community rescue as well. Then for the Monarch Masters main event, Wolverine 777 Hype got the win over Thanatos, Kirito Hype, Texan, Hector from Mad Dogs, Blazin, Coyote Hype, and Awaken, who took the second bump in a row because they went first, third, and then made it into the main event. Not bad for just playing in, or from starting in Kara Blue Cup there, Awaken. That was a hell of a run. But again, of course, lots of prizes coming through here for everybody. We're going to go from the top down, and then I'm going to try and combine it so that in cases where we see people winning multiple at once, we'll open them at once. Good job again, Reem. Absolutely. Reem has the potential to learn the game quickly. Absolutely. You're going to be a regular until schedule changes? Heck yeah, awesome to see. Glad we have you out whenever possible. Awaken, not a fan of the ownership. I mean, like on one hand I am, but am I a fan of it in a randomly generated auto battler? If this was Ascendant, I'd be talking, I mean, real Ascendant. Not the repackaged BS we've got before. But if we got the real Ascendant back, then this would make so much more sense. Yeah, last week was crazy. I know we'll repeat everything again. Hey, no, you're never going to repeat everything again. Not a chance. You'll do it better. Right? There should be 2 different leaderboards for casual and ranked. That'd definitely be interesting, but I would not want to see monetary rewards possible for casual, if that makes sense. If you want to throw a little fuel into a casual leaderboard, that makes sense to me. That's fine. But, like, any sort of specific extractable winnings I wouldn't want done in casual mode. Hey, my pleasure. Just thank you for being a part of it, eh? So without further ado, where does my pop-out window show up here today? We're going all the way up there, eh? Here. This is from last week. Bear with me, we're going to do this live. Oh, that's my chat window. Don't do that. Last week I tried having a Twitch window, I believe, here alongside the YouTube window. But it's been looking a little bit awkward since Twitch has absolutely no chat activity whatsoever, and I don't like just having a blank window on my page. So there we go, that's better. Let's start things off from the top and go onward. The first one will be Reem. For the win in the D main in the Caribou Cup second lobby, there will be 3 Illuvial packs coming your way in just a couple moments. I'm just getting my windows ready here for you. Let's see, so I've got 1. That ain't it. Let's see, pop out again. It looks like I have 2 different windows of the same thing, so bear with me. Let's bring you back into a nice spot right there. How about that spot? So now I can go back here. Wait for it. Where'd it go? Bam! There we are. Ownership was made for Ascendant and Obelisk Rising, not Gauntlet. Yeah. It got forced into a battle that it wasn't meant to fight. It got the fixation on pushing to be a competitor for teamfight tactics blinded everybody, I think. And it just completely brought the direction to a spot that made no sense. And even in my discussions with staff members, they are completely aware. The ones that are meant to try and lead the game, they are completely aware that an ownership model makes no sense in a random auto battler. And then the game that it does make sense for wasn't able to be made because they went and made Deathmatch. So that part's a little bit frustrating. It's something I still definitely am sore about. But I know there's people in charge that are aware of everything. They want it to be fixed. It's just a matter of how much can they do at any given time. I know, say with Perry, for example, talking to them about Obelisk Rising, then talking about the arena, you could tell they're exhausted as hell. And I imagine it's the exact same for like the entirety of the Illuvium team. I know they're trying their damnedest. There are people that know. Alright. Let's stop teasing Reem here. We've got 3 packs coming on through here for Reem in just a moment's time. So, of course, that is going to be 24 Illuvials on the way. It's completely random. I can't bless you myself or have some sort of streamer luck, but maybe we can get just some on-stream luck with an absolute godlike pack. Let's go. 3 packs on the way. The best pickup, the highest pickup right now, it looks like, is going to be a Stoic Lynx. 77 TPI onto that absolute beauty. Let's take a look at a couple more of 75 TPI Revo coming on through. That's a pretty nice one. A Fern, while it might be low on TPI, that is a tier 4 coming on through here for you. How about that Greater Fire Valente? 73 TPI onto this one. We have a couple Baby Links. Lesser Fire Tipo, 71 TPI onto that. I know personally I'm happy if it's above 70. So it's going to be a couple standouts. The Link's going to be the biggest one though. And of course, as always here with these Illuvials, I will absolutely gather them all up. Send them over into the Silent Events wallet, where I will then ship these all out to our winners here tomorrow morning. And then after all those Illuvials are shipped out, then I'll do the community rescue. That way I don't accidentally send something that you already received through packs. Alright, so we'll mark green and yellow. Your pack is opened. Just a matter of time before those Illuvials come on over to you. Warrior Ace might have had the disconnect, but was on an absolute charge for the first little bit. Thankfully for them, they can still sneak in some prizing here. 2 packs going to be coming their way. Double check to make sure there's nothing there. There's just my starter. Yep, I even still have my starter. 2 packs on the way here for Warrior Ace. The Ace Man is going to be showing up huge, actually. That is an incredible little pack here. An Alfie. That's going to be a tier 5, stage 1. But more importantly, at least to me, hello, beautiful, dark, hollow Lynx. 70 TPI. That is gorgeous. That is absolutely incredible. A Greater Air Flish as well. 86 TPI onto that one. Absolutely brutal in a good way. That is the first time that we've gotten a Dark Hollow in a long time. Axe Billionaire, what did you do? First off, good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. How are you doing? Let's get a Dark Hollow when it pops like that. That's kind of crazy. Ask and you shall receive, apparently. That is absolutely ridiculous. So, Warrior Ace. Once again, these Illuvials coming your way. Bro lost the battle and won the war, and I mean, now it's kind of the nature of how the prizing for House League was set up as well. Because there's nothing I can do about the randomness, the only thing that I can provide is more shots, more packs, more attempts. What actually shows up in those packs is anybody's guess. It makes for incredible moments when someone who might have only 2 packs or 1 pack ends up getting a godlike one. But all, unfortunately, I can offer is just the amount of packs. What shows up is anybody's guess. Next up will be Zexy. We do have a pack coming on over to Zexy. It might just be the one, but can it be a killer one? Let's see what we can do here for Zexy. We are going to have a little bit of a slower one, it looks like. But we've got a very nice Rota coming on through here with the 69 TPI. The biggest standout is going to be the Greater Fire Tipo. So unfortunately, a ton of tier 0s into this one. But at least we've got the Rota. Now, pause for a second, because Zexy... Oh, hang on a second. Zexy did end up getting 4th in the second match. Which means that is another pack, actually, going your way. So let's do that one more time. He took all the choo-choo. You're not kidding. Hopefully we can turn this around right now. Okay, that's a little bit more. I like it. So there we go. A dash coming on through tier 4. Awesome Illuvial. The baby carry to get things going here. That's a little bit better. So congratulations, Zexy, on your performances in the 2 matchups. These Illuvial is going to be coming your way. 16. Alright, so Zexy, these 2 slots are good to go. And then, lastly here for our first matchup, in the wildcard 4th slot, Z-Nexus Gamer. Got a pack coming your way. You're very welcome, Zexy. Alright, one and done. Let's see what we can get for one of our Illuvium newcomers. That's not too bad, all things considered, for starting off a collection. A decent heady to hold the line, while also then having a relentless floor links. The TPI might be low, but again, loading up on links can be difficult. So that's a relatively rare find still, even for it being 12 TPI. So let's see, Greater Appon, that's a good addition. Slappin', of course, that's a great addition. Archie, Atlas, a handful of like tier 1 and above in this single pack, so not a bad pack, given it was only the 1. And then a lesser Aerotipo with 70 TPI, very, very nice. So Z-Nexus Gamer, first and foremost, it's awesome to have you on board. I know this game can be difficult, and it is difficult, especially when you're first getting started. But we're happy to have you here, and as long as you're happy continuing to play in Illuvium Arena House League, we'll keep doing what we can to help build that collection completely free to play. Only 2 zeros for 1 pack is indeed great, absolutely. Alright, so this I imagine will be a little bit bigger. With, of course, Awaken having an absolute incredible run this week. We have the 5 from the Caribou Cup win, the 5 from the Monarch Masters 3rd place. So there we go, 10 packs for Awaken. Alright. So jot that down. And Awaken is here to witness this live. That always makes it super, super fun. Assuming we can hit something. Let's get something really nice, because I know you currently do have a full roster, if I recall correctly, or you're at least using a full roster. I'm not sure if it's rented or not, but you currently have like every Illuvial. And I know you talked about doing trades potentially with the community rescue if you can find TPI upgrades. That again, I will absolutely allow, but once everybody else has gotten their Illuvials. That way I don't like trade away an upgrade that would have then went to a newcomer kind of thing. So we're gonna absolutely see what we can do to help out and build the roster. It's kind of like a community rescue, I guess a house league end game, so to speak. So with that, once again, load them up. 80 challengers for Awaken. All right. 3, 2, 1, let it rip. It's the wrong game, but let's see if we can still get something epic out of this. Let's start things off with a Rip Lance. 53 TPI onto that beautiful little Scorpion. 70 TPI onto an Artace, not bad. Twine, 61. Mamu, the baby mammoth, for 72 TPI onto that one. A couple of Lynxes going your way. Jokol, another mammoth, it looks like. Let's keep on going. Oh, Mad Dogs, here's a baby Mad Dog. The dash is going to be coming your way. Decent heady, all things considered. There's a Wink, so that's a tier 3. An Ebb, that's a tier 4. An Exalted Water Atipo. That thing can be hard to find at times. 57 TPI there. 70 TPI Axon. I'm trying my damnedest because I'm prone to missing decent TPI Illuvials. Like this Lynx here. 83 TPI onto this Lynx. That's a nice little pickup. Exalted Nature Doka, that's fully evolved. A hollowed out Exalted Fire Grocko. That's kind of rare, all things considered. Very, very nice. Any sort of outliers in our lower tiers. 74 TPI onto that Rye. A Hollow Lynx, while it might not have the TPI, that might not matter if you happen to have it walking with you in Obelisk Rising, being nice and stylish. So there we go, got at least a Hollow on that front. We've got yet another Hollow. This one's going to be on an Archie. And then any other major outliers, a couple 70s for some lesser Grokkos. And it looks like that's where it's going to stop things out. Oh, Lesser Water Grocko is going to be hollowed out as well. So hollows all over the place here in this pack. Congratulations, Awaken. A very, very stylish pack, or a stylish opening, or a very stylish performance in House League last week. So I think that's appropriate, all things considered. Congratulations. This will take a while. There is no way for me to hit select all. So I kinda gotta just mash through and we'll get there. Yeah, 4 hollows in 10 packs. That's pretty cool. Maybe that's one thing, because I'm not sure what your current hollow deck's status is. But if I can't help you for a starting roster slot, in that regards for Illuvials, maybe I can at least help the shiny collection. So there we go. 80 challengers. We're going to send those to the wallet. Let's get it out of Deathmatch as fast as possible. And we will send those over, or rather I will send those over to you tomorrow morning. Consider this week lucky 100%. GG's. A lot of cool units, also units to replace. Okay, so there is even a couple of potential starters there. Hell yeah, that's what it's all about. Alright, so Awaken. Those 2 slots are cleared. Next up, Robert Tacho. Nearly made the run back, but Awaken did have the stranglehold in the end, so making it all the way up into second place after being within kill shot for what felt like half the game. A nice comeback to glory here for Robert Tacho. And we do have 4 packs come their way for a successful podium finish. They were in chat at one point as well, so let's see. Hopefully we can get you something good here. With 32 challengers coming your way. Let's get it. Arcane Terra Lynx. Hello, beautiful. Going to be coming on through immediately. 56 TPI onto that one. A couple of rare finds, not necessarily in regards to TPI, but at least in regards to tier. We have a Twine, Allura, which is actually a pretty nice one as well. 68 TPI onto that one. And then a Flare. But probably one of the better Lynxes I've seen in a little while going in the way of Robert Tacho. 89 TPI onto that baby Lynx. That one definitely critical. Especially in videos I've talked about in the past, basically all these competitive streams, I constantly emphasize that these baby Lynxes are a must-have for early game pressure. So finding a beautiful one like that could absolutely do you wonders. Let's see if we can find anything else here. An Exalted Water Doka. That's kind of hard to find, and I believe you still are needing a couple of Exalted Tier 0s. Hopefully that hits the mark. 76 TPI onto that Chuko. Not bad. 76 TPI onto that Lesser Air Doka to my right. This over here. There it is. A couple of other Lessers. A couple of decent ones as well. And there you go, Axe. I found a Doka with your name on it. right there. 67 TPI onto that lesser water Doka. But a couple of decent ones. Lots in the 70s and 60s. So honestly, not bad, all things considered. Let's get them all sent out. Back to the wallet, back to safekeepings. Send them to the sanctuary. And that is the beauty about this here, Rain. So what I'm doing right now, when I'm going through all of these Illuvials, when I hit send to wallet, this rips them out of Deathmatch and brings them to the Silence House Community Rescue, the Sanctuary. And then, tomorrow, now that they are all ripped out of Deathmatch and once they're in my wallet, I sit down and I send all of these to your Illuvidex wallet that you signed up for with House League. Then from there, once they've been sent, you can use them in Arena immediately. Just got to make sure that you have them in your team planner. Set your team planner inside of Illuvium Arena. Or you can send them to Deathmatch yourself, if that's what you wish. Or you can list them on the Illuvidex yourself. Or if you have so many Illuvials that it just doesn't matter and you want to send them back as a donation to the rescue, you could. But the main thing, once you have your Illuvials, it's up to you what you want to do with them. One way or another, let them make an impact on your adventure. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. So there we go, Robert Tacho. Solid group coming on through. All marked down. Next up shall be Ethit. So Ethit has the 3 packs coming on through for a 3rd place finish in the Caribou Cup main event. That equates to 24 Illuvials. Let's see what we can do. If I recall correctly, Ethit's collection, through their time in Illuvium Arena House League, getting packs for doing well in Caribou Cup, getting lots of good finishes rather in Caribou Cup to be able to get a bunch of community rescue. I believe we've gotten it now to where Ethit's collection is just missing a couple of the big heavy hitters, missing a couple of those tier 5s, the fully evolved ones. So that's what we're going to be shooting for right here, right now. Or in just a second, I'm quickly going to answer the question in chat here. Does a team planner boost the chance to see Illuvials in rounds? It does not, but what it does do is makes it so that the experience that you get at the end of the game goes to the right Illuvial in case you have multiple copies of the same Illuvial. And say, for instance, if you're going into ranked mode, and let's say I have a Lynx that's level 1, but I would rather be using my Lynx that's level 60. In the team planner, I can set, owned Illuvials, Lynx, slot 1, level 60 Lynx. That way I get that Lynx in particular first whenever I see it in the shop, if that makes sense. Alrighty, tier 5, please. Let's see if we can get it here for you. Okay, it may not be a tier 5, but damn, that's a good start here, actually. We have a 76 TPI Dash and a gorgeous 75 TPI Exalted Nature Grocco on top of a 54 TPI Exalted Airflish. So a couple big hitters on the tier 0 front. Then, on top of all that, how about an 85 TPI Baby Lynx? A fantastic start to this pack. Let's see if there's any outliers. That T-Roo, that little Roo, is actually 78 TPI. That's a pretty solid one if I do say so myself. We do have a lesser Eratipo for 74 TPI. Nice, nice, nice. Honestly, all things considered, I'd argue that's a pretty sick pack, all things considered. Congratulations, Ethit. I know it's not a tier 5, but there's still some pretty cool stuff here, and I hope they can make an impact no matter what. The nice Dash and Grocco, absolutely. T-Root too, absolutely. And of course, there is going to be additional community rescue prizing coming your way. I just got to see what I can do, what I can afford to do, because we're talking about tier 5s now. Unfortunately, those ones I have to be very careful about giving out, because I do not have many. But I do want to help. So I'm going to do the best that I can to try and find a couple of those very final Illuvials for you. You're very welcome. Again, congratulations for the awesome Illuvials, and thank you for being a longtime player of the House League and enjoying your time here. Alright, if I throw it back, flashbang incoming, let's bring back the spreadsheet. So, with that, again, we do also have Matter 1, Kira, Ballistics, and Reem. You will be getting additional prizing from the C main, thanks to the community rescue. So I will be going through accounts after I ship all the Illuvials tomorrow. I'll go through everyone's account one more time, and I'm going to take a look at specifically what Illuvials you are missing. And I'm going to go through my community rescue. Let's see, where did I put it? Right here. I'm going to go through my inventory and see what I have, and see what I can do to help give you some more Illuvials that you're currently missing from your collection. You will be pinged whenever that is completed. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons here, apparently. Bear with me. Okay. Alright, so in terms of pack openings, this now leads us to Blazin, their fantastic second victory here in the Illuvium Arena House League. For the first place in the B main, we do have 7 packs locked and loaded here for them. Well, let's see here, Blazin. I know you like some Inferno. Let's see if I can all of a sudden wisp in a little bit of extra luck for maybe bringing your Majesty, bring a nice Monarch your way. Maybe a Rampfire? That's asking a lot, but we'll see what we can do. With 56 Illuvials on the way, let's see what we can score. Okay, I saw the Arctes and I thought maybe we wished it into existence. It's not going to be exactly what we were looking for, but an awesome little Arctes coming on through. An Axodon 6-7 Axe. That's kind of funny, actually. There you go, 6-7 Axodon. Big beefy fella. We do have the Stabbin, 49 TPI onto that one, a Allura as well. A nice Cling, 80 TPI onto that Sloth. We got the fully evolved Archelion as well. TPI is a little bit low, but still, that's a fully evolved Illuvial. We do have a baby Mule, the little polar bear, going to be coming on through. How about anything else of note as it stands here? Okay. We have a 69 Axon and a 6-7 Axodon. You can't make that shit up. That's kind of funny. An Exalted Fire Tipo coming in to maybe fill a gap as well. Any other standouts from maybe some of these lower tiers? Does not look like that. We do have a holo, actually. A 65 TPI Lesser Air Tipo hollowed out. That's a pretty fancy holo, actually. Nicely done. And that will be it there. I was almost convinced that if that was a Monarch, I would have lost it. But we do have the 69-6-7. That is kind of funny. But some awesome Illuvials, no matter what. That's awesome. You're very, very welcome, Blazin. Thank you for playing, and congratulations once again on your second victory. Alright, 56 challengers. Send them off to the Sanctuary. And we'll send them over very, very soon. Okay. Next up, for the second place finish in the B main, we will have Coyote Hype. We have 6 packs coming on over here for Coyote. I believe it was with Coyote. I could be mistaken, but I think through the community rescue, I think it was either a week or 2 ago, we were finally able to complete their living decks thanks to a couple of tier zeros, a couple of the fully evolved tier zeros that they were missing. So I think, once again, first and foremost, congratulations on the completed living decks. That is an awesome achievement. And with that, can we maybe find some upgrades on the arena team? We'll have to see. It's going to be a tough task. Coyote has some awesome Illuvials. But we have 48 challengers, 48 Illuvials on the way. Let's see it. Whoa, okay there. That got me excited for a second. We've got the Geyser and the Flood both showing up at the exact same time. We've got a couple of tier 4s actually to lead the charge. The TPI might not necessarily be the greatest, but you got the big guy, the Geyser. We've got the middle stage evolution of it. We've got the Flood. We've got a Fern, 63 TPI onto that one. Not too shabby, all things considered. We do have a Crunk going to be coming on fourth tier, of course, the evolved form of Heavy. Good tank here. But in terms of TPI, let's see if we can find any major standouts in this pack. A little baby mammoth coming on through, but TPI is a little on the low side. Greater Fire Valente in the 70s. That's a pretty nice lesser monk here, actually. 89 TPI for that one. 6-7 Rye, 72 Lesser Gorilla, 6-7 Atlas. 70 on that Lesser Fire Valente. And I think that will wrap up the pack. But a couple of rare finds. The TPI might not necessarily be there, but still a couple of awesome rare finds. Congratulations once again on a fantastic week there, Coyote Hype. All right, 48, let's send them off to the Sanctuary, and once again, they'll be sent out tomorrow morning. I'll pause for a second, because sometimes there's a visual bug. These Illuvials have been sent out. Just a matter of flipping through it every once in a while. I won't open another until the bug fixes, just in case. There we go, that's better. All right. Next up. In the wild card 4th slot, we do have Hunter. 1 pack coming their way. The wild card 4th spot is basically a nod of sorts to the fact that if you get 4th, if you're on the top half just barely in a ranked game, you usually get +1 rating. So you get 4th in House League, you get +1 Illuvial pack. That's kind of the idea behind that. Let's see what we can get here for Hunter. Howdy, these will be good for feeding your buddies when in Obelisk Rising when it's out. Absolutely, yeah. With the bond system, that is something that you can absolutely do. It's not really talked about or shown as of late with the current gameplay. It's still a UI that's trying to be built. But I do want to emphasize that that is also something that you can do. If you have extra Illuvials, instead of just mindlessly throwing them into Deathmatch, you can save those up and then eventually transfer those, in theory. At least the intention, I believe, is that you could bring those Illuvials into Obelisk Rising and then feed, or not feed, but just burn them by powering up the bonds level of an Illuvial that you like. So that is something to keep in mind, that even if you're not necessarily able to use these in your arena team right now, and you don't care for Deathmatch, you can still save these for later. But alright, Hunter. Hunter from Mad Dogs with the wild card pack. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we are going to get a Vermilia, so a little tier 3 coming on through. 68 TPI onto that one, a pretty offensively nice fella. And we do have a holo in this pack as well, actually, with a little lesser Airflish. 60 TPI onto that one. So, not bad, all things considered there, Hunter. Congratulations. Alright. Now we're to the point where we're at. The Monarch Masters finale, the main event, where we saw Wolverine 777 hype take the win. And for the second time today, let's load up 10 packs. Of course, the Monarch Masters main event, the hardest division to try and actually break into. Of course, not only are you needing to be skillful and whatnot, but those Illuvials, a lot of these players, multiple level 60s, if not entire rosters of level 60s. And because that's such a hard division to get into, that's why the amount of packs are so high. Even though they might have the great TPI, they might have full collections, if not multiple full collections at this point, let's be honest. That's why the pricing is so high there. It's so hard to get into. So with that for Wolverine, 80 challengers, 80 Illuvials on the way. Let's get it. We are going to start off with the beauty, Sinalf, 70 TPI onto that fella. That is an incredible pull, incredible pistol shrimp. We then, right after that, Malura coming on through, fully evolved tier 3. We have the Lalura, 82 TPI onto that one. Gorgeous. How about this Stoic Zephyr Lynx, 62 TPI, not bad for a fully evolved Lynx. We have another Malura. We have a 69 Polar Bear and a 66 Polar Bear. Arcane Lynx, 76 TPI onto that one. Seaforest, that's a fully evolved tier 1. 69 onto that Arcane Lynx here, very, very nice. Burn coming your way as well, 69 onto that ace. A couple of aces in this pack, actually. We've got a 70 TPI hollowed out Tiru. It's a nice one. Any other major standouts amongst the low tiers? There's another hollow there on a Grilla. 77 onto a Lesser Eartha Tipo, 69 onto a Lesser Nature Flish. But it looks like that's going to be it in regards to the standouts. Actually, nope, I lied, one more. Right at the very bottom here, we have a Lesser Water Doka showing up as a hollow as well. So a pretty awesome little pack here for Wolverine. First time in a little while, I feel like, that we've seen an evolved tier 5 here. So the Sinalf is a nice change of pace here. Nice pickup. And of course, congratulations on the win in the Monarch Masters main event. This will take a minute. That's my starter. There we go. Sending 80 out of there. Get that Sinalf out of here. That's actually one Illuvial, or there's two in particular that I really want to see how their Omega works in Obelisk Rising. I'd love to see what happens with the pistol shrimps and squiz. I want to see what those Omegas look like someday. But very hard to find, of course. The only tier 5 that I've been able to find as of this moment was essentially the entire Ador line. I've seen Ador, I've seen Adorito. We've seen both those on stream, actually, in past streams. And then when I was just collecting teleporters, I managed to find an Adorius. Wasn't able to catch it, unfortunately, but it was cool to still see it there. Alright, Wolverine. Packs have been opened, which now brings us over to Thanatos. Played the Rogues, got all the way up to seconds, but could not finish off Wolverine, but there is still a bunch of awesome prizes coming their way. We have 9 packs, 72 Illuvials coming on through. Good luck, Thanatos. Let's see what we can get you. Okay, how about the Magma Duo, or almost the Magma Duo of sorts. We do have a Seer coming on through. Fury Ox as well, alongside a Relentless Zephyrlynx and a Relentless Floorlynx, and a pretty decent Polar Bear, all things considered. 73 TPI onto that one. Then we've got 2 very rare Hollows, in my opinion, considering these are Tier 4 and Tier 3. A Hollow Fury and a Hollow Hetty going on over to Thanatos. 78 TPI onto that Archos. That's a pretty nice one. Another nice Lynx. This one going to top the Lynxes we've seen so far here today. 90 TPI onto that Baby Lynx. We've got an Exalted Air Grotto as well coming up through. Caradulo. That's the middle stage evolution, not the full one. Couple of Lynxes. We've got an 80 TPI Lesser Monk here as well. Any other standouts amongst the low tiers? We do have a Hollow Archie there for 53 TPI. Any other Hollows or something along our lower tiers? Not exactly, but still a pretty awesome pull here if I do say so myself. Especially the Hollows, the Hollow Hetty and the Hollow Fury standouts, at least in my opinion. So congratulations once again there, Thanatos, on an awesome performance in last week's Illuvium Arena House League. Send those off. Two more openings to go. I'll pause for a second to wait for the visual bug to go away, just to be sure. Yeah, two more pack openings, and then we'll be wrapping up for today's episode. Got a little bit of running around to do this evening, so can't stick around for too much after the fact. But I do want to again say thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far here today. This, of course, isn't going to be the end of streams for the week. For tomorrow's stream, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time or 7:30 p.m. UTC, I'll be back in the arena. We can actually play together. It's been a little bit. I missed the arena. I got maybe a game or two in earlier this morning. Taking a break from Obelisk Rising side of things, and I want to be able to play with y'all again. So we'll have a rank up day. Whether you want to try and stream snipe me and get into my lobby, I absolutely endorse it. So by all means, if you want to play arena, tomorrow will be the day. And of course, Friday will be Illuvium Arena House League. We do this all again. And is one of the highlights of my week. Kirito! For the third place finish in the Monarch Masters main event, we do have 8 packs coming your way. 64 Illuvials. Good luck. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have a handful of nice evolutions here. A couple of awesome Illuvials. We have a 63 TPI Blotto. This thing looks like it's built to tank as long as its stat line is correct. We do have a Slash-In coming up through. That's a fully evolved Penguin. We've got the middle stage evolution here on a Mammoth. That's a nice pull as well. We have a Virtuous Ember Lynx. We have a decent TPI Dash here. 71 TPI onto that one. 69 onto that Mule, onto the Polar Bear. A Stoic Hydro Lynx as well. A Squiz actually going to be coming your way as well. A little low on TPI, but still tier 5. And there is a Dark Hollow coming on through for Kirito. Dark Hollow Relentless Flora Lynx. Maybe when we team up in Obelisk Rising sometime, we can have your Relentless Dark Hollow Flora Lynx right next to my Dark Hollow Stoic Flora Lynx. I think that'd be a cool picture, absolutely. Congratulations for that one. Do have an Exalted Airflish as well, 74 TPI onto that one. Damn. Any other major standouts and the rest of the pack? Trying to take a peek. A decent Rota there, 73 TPI onto that guy. Don't see any other standouts, but a Dark Hollow. Absolutely incredible stuff. 2 Dark Hollow pulls this stream. That is incredible. We've not had luck like that in a while, if not ever. That's awesome. And congratulations once again, Kirito. A very lucky stream indeed. Yeah, never mind the money's worth. That shit's just rare. That's just rare. And that's stylish. That's cool. That, to me, is a keeper. The lucky charm, I guess so. Alright, so 64. Send them all out. Yeah, 50, 60 bucks for an Illuvial, though, is pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, the last one. Last but not least, in the wild card 4th slot, Texan went on quite the spree of sorts, getting firsts in multiple events that they had entered. Shut down for 4th here in this one. But, of course, with it being the wild card slot, there's still one pack. One final pack. It could still absolutely be a banger. Good luck, Texan. Let's see. The final pack of the day does bring some goodies, though. We do see Relentless Hydro Lynx as the best pull, but in terms of the rarest, I'd argue that we have that Exalted Earthatipo right here with 70 TPI. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. A couple of decent ones. Very, like, multiple Illuvials here in the 70s, so not a bad set, if I do say so myself. Congratulations there, Texan. There we go. And with that, that does wrap up all of the openings for today's stream and completely conclude all activities here for the stream here today as well. But of course, like I was saying before, this is not the end of the week, so to speak. There's still plenty more streams to come. Starting off with tomorrow, where we will be, once again, like I was saying earlier, going to hop back into the Illuvium Arena. I have some work to do to get my rank back up. I was approaching the top 20. Then the playtest for Obelisk Rising came out, and then I ended up dropping down all the way to the mid 40s. So I need to catch back up as best as possible. It's also a perfect opportunity to have a little bit of a gaming afternoon with all of yous as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Because, of course, again, while the excitement around Obelisk Rising and the playtest, being able to see what the potential future adventure for Illuvium is, I do also recognize that not everybody can play this right now. It's not open to the public, and that playtest is still very, very small. But that is still, like, it's a-okay, but it means that I can't play with you. So, not every stream is going to be exclusively Obelisk Rising. It will be Obelisk Rising when I have a specific task or a specific goal in mind to, or a certain feature that I want to showcase per se. But I'm not just going to do Obelisk Rising just because it's the new car smell, so to speak. I still want to play with yous. I still want to compete in Arena. Arena's still my baby. I absolutely love that. Love it, and I want to continue to play some more of it with all of yous as well. Once I have a better idea of the schedule for next week, I'll absolutely let you know. And then, of course, make sure if you want to get a part of House League, get a chance at some of these prizing, get involved with the community rescue prizing as well. That way you can grow your collection just by playing the game. If you want to sign up for it, in the description of the stream here on the YouTube side of things, you will find the link for the registration form. Where are we at right now in regards to registration? Let's take a look real quick. It looks like we have about 8 of yous already, and we still have a couple days to go here. So it's setting up to be another exciting edition of House League. Definitely going to be looking forward to that. Like I was saying before, it's one of the highlights of my week, and I'm looking forward to that. Long live the real Ascendant. I hope we do get to see it again one day. We know they've made it before. It's just a matter of how much would it take to get it back. And it's definitely on my wish list, 100%. And while I may not necessarily agree with everything that Illuvium does, I'm still absolutely blessed to be a part of Illuvium's community. I'm not a staff member by means, but they've been very supportive of my community events as well. To the point, again, where all of these House League prizes were provided by Illuvium themselves. They provided the skulls that allowed me to give all of you these packs, and I thank them very, very much for doing so. While I may, again, not always have the most positive thing to say, it's only because I love this game, I love this community, and I want to see the game and all the staff members that make this game actually succeed. So it's all with care, it's all with love. It's never meant to be an attack on anybody. All right. The shop closing's out again. Drop a sub and a like on the video on your way out. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. We'll be back in the arena. I'm looking forward to it. Take care, everybody.